Welcome to Face the Facts. It's great to see you here all once again. We have a jam-packed edition here today. It's kind of cool. We actually have an in-game going on right now. We have the Red Sox playing against the Orioles. I'm not going to share it because of copyright, obviously, here on our lovely show, but I can look to my screen right here and know what's happening during the games. We kind of give you an update on what's happening from that standpoint. We're going to talk about the Bruins here today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Celtics, and that's going to be our show because there's really nothing to talk about with regards for the Patriots and everything this week. So I do want to lead off the show today. I got my Red Sox lucky sweatshirt on, which means that we are going to be talking about the Red Sox first. And opening day was last week. It was rained out last Thursday. We started the season Friday, and it was not such a great start. They got swept by the Baltimore Orioles pretty badly, pretty embarrassing. But it was only 3 games, folks. Yes, did I panic a little bit? Yes, that's just how I am. But we got a 3-game sweep of the defending American League champion Tampa Rays, and we looked a lot better. So there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to look into. There should be some excitement with this team. This is not your 2020 Red Sox. This is not. So you should still feel good about the direction this team is headed. They have some good players that are worth rooting for. We have some players who have some big-time motivation going on right now to kind of prove it to people that 2020 was just a year from hell, and we're going to put that behind us, and we're going to do well now. So I don't know if you guys have seen any of the games so far. And I see Tom shaking his head, and I am disgusted. And I see Phil eating his thing. So
I have not.
Sorry, I can't watch.
Any insight at all that you guys would like to provide?
Don't
I haven't.
be disgusted when I can't watch the games. I have an excuse.
No, there's no such thing as excuses in this world. Ever's going way back. Going way back. This ball is gone.
There you go. What's the score there?
2-0 Red Sox.
Nice. Yeah, I've actually watched a bunch of highlights and stuff, and I remember, like, I only saw like the highlights of the first 3 games, and I was like, oh, it seemed like they weren't,
We're in sync.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
The bats were out of whack a little bit. We also have to remember here, it's like 30, 40 degrees here last week. Whichever
Yes.
moron decided to schedule opening day at Fenway Park on April 1st should be fired immediately. There's no reason why you're playing baseball in Fenway Park on April 1st. I'm sorry. There's none. Start your season off in a dome. Start it in Tampa. Start it in California. Something like that. There's no reason why April 1st that you're starting your season at Fenway. So stupid. So it's expected that the bats aren't going to be on fire right out of the bat. It really is. You go from beautiful weather in Florida, and again, I'm not trying to make an excuse like Tom does, but you're going from 70, 80 degrees, sometimes 90, depends on the conditions for Florida for March, to 30. I don't think I'd hit the ball that well if in that temperature kind of change. So I'm glad that they figured it out. My biggest like right now with this team is the underdog mentality. We've talked about it a little bit in the past couple of weeks here on the show, but the expectation is a little bit lower, especially after what's gone on from the past really 2 seasons with the Red Sox, as Christian Vasquez just lines a screaming line drive down the left field side. He is now on second base with a double. Likeable team. There really isn't anybody on this team that you can't root for. One of my favorites, we've talked about him quite a bit on the show, is JD Martinez. He is scorching hot right now. He is putting on a show. He's confident at the bat. He's got his video room back so he can analyze and break down his swings in between at bats and everything. Now, not trying to make an excuse like some of us do here but that's a valid excuse for Martinez. That whole thing was taken away during the COVID season, and he's the big component of JD Martinez's game is the video review. So he's able to look at his swing, know what's going on. if you take that kind of thing away from a player during their season, I mean, granted, you're probably not going to have a great year, and he didn't. So I'm glad that that's back because you're seeing a fantastic MVP style campaign right now. I know it's early, but he looks like one of the best players in baseball right now. It's wonderful to see.
It's a shame he got that room taken away from him. I wonder why he did. Why that team
It's a
did.
COVID restriction.
Oh, was it actually COVID
It was
restriction?
a COVID. Yeah, they were trying to minimize
I thought
the different kinds of things going
Oh,
on.
like the tech people, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Less
that does.
contact, less tracing kind of thing.
I thought it was honestly. I thought it was that was one of the things stripped from them because of what happened with the team. I thought that was one of the penalties.
No, it wasn't one of the penalties from that.
But let's go back a second. Christian Vasquez is another guy who's kind of up the ante a bit offensively.
He's been awesome. I mean, he had a mammoth shot Tuesday night to tie the game in the ninth inning and led the game to go to extra innings. Now, do you guys know about the extra inning rule? What baseball is doing now?
Are they doing like a man on second base? Is that what they do?
Yeah.
How did that? How is that? It sounded kind of awesome.
I love it. I didn't like it at first. I think if you are the home team, it's a massive advantage. I think if you're the visiting team, you get kind of screwed. Reason being, I was actually watching the Yankees and the Orioles game last night, and the same kind of situation played out in their game. You can score a run, you get a runner and you say you get a lead if you're the visiting team. That's all wonderful and all. But then the home team, say they explode and they get a couple hits. I mean, you can win the game and walk it off right there. And that's what happened for the Red Sox Tuesday night with the walk-off for JD Martinez. So it's got its likes, it's got its dislikes, but I think overall, at least for fans, I think it's fun. I think it adds another level of excitement. I think it adds another level of getting a win and not kind of dragging out a game for going on and on and on in the regular season. This is just regular season that this goes on. This is not postseason, worlds, none of it. It's just regular season.
Do you think they'll go to that eventually, or what do you think?
I don't think so in the postseason, no.
Yeah.
I think this format is very similar to how the shootout goes in the NHL. I think
that's a good comparison. Yeah.
With the regular season and everything, I think it's great for getting that quick win and not dragging it out. But when it comes to the playoffs and everything, just like in hockey, that's when you have your typical standard, 5-on-5 kind of matchup, or just let the bases be empty and do your thing. So the Red Sox got that done on Tuesday night. Actually, that was Monday night. Excuse me. No, what is today? Yeah, Tuesday night they did. Yesterday afternoon, I get confused because there's so many afternoon games going on right now. Red Sox erupted against the Rays. The balls were popping off the bat, and they put up a great offensive show. And currently, right now, I mean, the Red Sox are still here in this first inning with Baltimore, and they got runners on the corner, 2 outs, 2-0 already after the Devers 2-run home run, his first of the season. So I got a lot to like on this team. Pitching is still my biggest question mark. So far, you've been pretty good with your starters. You've had a couple good outings from Nate Eovaldi. You've had a pretty decent outing for Martin Perez, Nick Pivetta. He's slotting into that 4th spot. Pretty good. Your biggest issue so far in the rotation was Garrett Richards. So, and you also have Eduardo Rodriguez making his season debut today for the Sox. So,
I'm excited. Like Eovaldi and Rodriguez, those are the 2 guys to me that need to be that top of the rotation kind of. And when Chris Sale comes back, and was it June or July?
You mentioned Sale.
Yeah.
Sale is, wow, that was called a ball. Wow, that was right down the heart of the plate. Okay, we'll take our break.
We'll take it, of course. Yeah.
We'll take it. Yeah, we got a stolen base. We got runners again on second and third with 2 outs. Base hit could make this a 4-0 lead before Rodriguez takes the hill. But Chris Sale should be back. They're hoping by All-Star break. So if you can get by without Sale and be pretty competitive and get up a good spot here in the division, I think it all is going to look really good. So I'm excited for how this will look. Just got a strikeout from Christian Arroyo. So Rodriguez will be coming out for the bottom of the first. Any other thoughts on the Sox?
No, I'm looking forward to watching some afternoon games on Sunday. And yeah, I haven't gotten into it. This weekend wasn't able to, but I'm kind of excited. I want to see
I haven't been into the Red
inning
Sox
game.
since the early beginning of 2019.
Oh wow.
Yep. Last year I had nothing. I had no.
When did they start?
No.
Did they start on time last year? Or was it
No, they didn't
it was
start.
like mid-season, right?
Was it like mid-July?
It was mid, yeah.
It was like
summer.
after where the All-Star game would have been.
Okay, yeah. Tom, it looks like you kind of have a mohawk sometimes when you go in and out.
I know. I don't
logo.
have a green screen, so it doesn't look very good.
Yeah, hold on. Gotta stop the pups.
Let's go over to the Bruins, why Phil got up from his seat and was taking care of his dog. I'm still not happy. I'm still not happy at all with this team. I don't like what I see. I don't like what is being thrown out there every night. You got trades happening that should possibly have been a target for the Bruins. What's going on? Like what is going on with the Bruins? I'm really kind of ticked. Thank God they have Brad Marchand right now and a little bit of Bergeron, and sometimes when Pasta wants to show up and score, I guess that's good. But I'm not super confident with this team right now, Tom. Should I be feeling that way? What do you think?
I mean, their record, doesn't look too bad. I mean, they're kind of alternating right now between wins and losses, which isn't really a pattern you want to see. But I mean, they're on a nice little 2-game win streak before they started, before they had to postpone those 2 games. And then you see that they lost in overtime. I'm liking that the Providence goalies can come up though and get some wins in their debuts. So
Jeremy
Swayman.
Swayman will be starting again tonight. They're going to go back to back with him. And again, it's because Halak supposedly has COVID, so he's in the COVID protocol. And Rask has just kind of, we don't really know what's
falling
going
off
on
the face of the planet with him.
We don't know.
Keep the young guys rolling.
If I were Tuukka Rask, I would be very concerned right now for himself, because you're going to put in some young and hungry goaltending, and they're going to want to take that job. And I hope that if we see a nice job done by this goalie pair, by Halak, by Rask, let's see what a little bit of motivation, a little bit of hustle, a little bit of spark can do with a team that so desperately needs a jump in the right direction.
I mean, if these 2 guys keep doing well, Halak probably won't get re-signed. And I'm gonna do a little hot take. I think Rask is gonna retire.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think Rask is done.
I think Rask is done. After seeing what I've seen so far here, I don't think Rask wants to play hockey anymore. I don't. I totally agree with you, Tom. I was actually waiting for that point to be brought up because, truthfully, I don't even expect Rask to be back.
I don't expect to see him back. I'd
be shocked.
I think his health is. His health is waning on him really, and he's got a lot of issues.
Not so much physical health with him. I think it's mental health.
Yeah, and I think I think a lot of it has to do with the stuff that goes happening with his family and everything. And
yep.
So
I'm also concerned on Carlo's front. Carlo came back about a week ago, and now he's just not back to. He's more day to day. He's more not. That concussion did a number on him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough hit. He's one of those guys that he's one of those guys that when he comes back, he wants to be careful. But we don't have, with the fact that we don't really have a strong defensive core, when they're not 100%, it's kind of tough on guys like him because
Saturday,
he has to step
the
up.
return of Kevin Miller, but I don't know about you. I'm not looking much into that. Like I take it day by day with him or game by game. He's like a bottle. He's like a broken glass to me. He's like Gordon.
I think his next injury is going to finish him off.
Yeah, I do too. He's just waiting for one more big hit to be done. You can't count on him. Now, McAvoy was out the last game. That's not good. Your defensemen are single-handedly self-destructing on this team right now.
Well, they won last game.
I know they did.
Keep McAvoy out.
I know they did. So that was a surprise. I was actually surprised that they pulled that victory out because they look lazy. They look sloppy. Outside of Brad Marchand, Marchand is having an incredible season. He is. And we're not giving him enough credit for it. He's stepped up. He's been consistent. He delivers. I'll admit, and Bergeron is starting to get his act together a little bit, I will say. I'm mostly concerned on Pasta. I am mostly concerned on Krejci, DeBrusk, and I'm also concerned a little bit with Coyle. Coyle's been very silent recently, and it's got to stop.
Yeah, is Pasternak still playing on the first line?
No, he's on the second line. He's with Krejci and Richie.
So Butch is trying to get his scoring back in gear.
Yeah. Is this a coaching problem? I just want to put that out there.
No, because if it was a coaching problem, Pasternak would still be on the first line. Cassidy knows that if he puts Pasternak on the second line, then he knows that. I mean, that means that he's trying to get a scoring touch back.
Yeah, I'm tired of people saying that this has something to do with coaching and everything.
It has nothing to do with Cassidy. I think it's a ragtag bunch. I think that they're trying to do too much after doing absolutely squat last year, and I just don't think they're feeling it right now. And I think that it's it's a young defensive core and it's an old offensive front. So. Or an older offensive front, really, and the goaltending isn't up to par either.
No, there's a lot of things that aren't going the right way for the Bruins, but you have to get through that adversity. You have to figure out how to get to a better state to win some of these games.
I think management needs to do something, though.
That's where I think if you want to blame somebody in particular, you have to look at Don Sweeney. He's not done, excuse my French, jack shit for this team.
I think Don likes to hang on to guys a little too longer than he needs to, and he's afraid to get rid of them. AKA like a Jake DeBrusk or an Anders Bjork.
Yeah, whatever happened to Kase?
Kasha?
He doesn't play anymore. Kasha.
I'm not sure what they did with him, actually. I think he's hurt.
So they say.
I think he came back for like 5 games. He started the season and like played the first 5 games, and then he got hurt.
Not that there's anything, the heck was I going to say? Not that there's any, not that he's done anything. Kase.
No,
he's done nothing.
He started I'm pretty sure he played like the first like 3 to 5 games. Then he got caught up in the COVID protocol, and then he came back and then got hurt, and then he's been out since.
Yeah.
So.
Well, all I can hope for from the Bruins is a move needs to be made. I don't care what it is, make a move, but the move needs to be significant. It needs to be somebody that boosts that second line specifically, because we've been screaming for it for the past 4 or 5 years. Like, enough is enough. You're getting another year older with Marchand and Bergeron, and this could be it with Krejci if Krejci decides to get his act together and get going. I personally think that Jake DeBrusk needs to be one of the players that's moved. I would move him to light a fire under this team and just tell him, no one's safe. You're not going to produce. You're not going to play. You're out. Something like that. Something's going to come through because they are lacking consistent fundamental hockey. They're getting glimpses of it, but then the next game they turtle. The next game, maybe it's another turtle. Then it's Bruins of old. You know?
I mean, honestly,
that's why I'm a little nervous about tonight's game, because you just got a victory. They're going on this win one, lose one, win one, lose. You know, this pattern. Win 4 or 5. Like enough with the excuse making. Let's get it done. And I don't think Cassidy does that with the excuses. I'm just talking about go play consistent hockey. I'm not looking for a win every time. I'm looking for the second or third line, or hell, even fourth line that's been zombie ghosts out there to freaking contribute.
Well, Corrali's back, so that should help a little bit.
Oh, he's done shit. He's done shit. Come on.
I honestly think
Wagner, Corrali, all of them. I'd send them all back to Providence and say, you're not going to produce? Bye-bye. Carson Coleman had a great game the last game, inserted into the lineup. That's a spark.
I think they can move.
Frederick, get his act together. Ever since that big hit that he went up against, what's that jerk's name?
Which one?
The one that Washington's jerk.
Oh, or Wilson.
Tom Wilson. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that'll get him going again tonight, or against the Caps again.
Right. Because these two teams, Washington and the Bruins, just don't like each other. And
but I honestly think
fight somebody.
I honestly think at this point they could, they could move Halak at this point. Honestly, it's almost like
I don't know if you can with the COVID thing that's going about.
Well, I mean, hopefully he'll be back before the trade deadline's up. But
yeah,
I mean, you could get a lot for Halak.
2-2 game. Rodriguez looks like crap.
Ugh, that's horrible.
What
Way to
about
bring
Matt
me
Barnes?
down.
How's Matt Barnes doing?
Actually, he hasn't been on my list recently, but now that you mention it, he's probably going to do something today to burst my bubble. Who knows? Celtics front, Phil. They had a nice win last night against the Knicks. It was good to see. It was,
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
After a back-to-back with
I was
Philly.
Actually giving them some positivity here. Now
let's not mistake positivity for pandering.
Okay.
Let's not do that.
I mean, my dad was at the game last night, so I'm surprised they won.
No, I mean, listen, the Knicks are a little better than people give them credit for, but it's still the Knicks, and they had a little bit of trouble with them. They had to come back from that. I actually didn't watch all of it, so I'm more the game that's so. Huh?
I didn't watch any of it, so more.
So there you go.
More for you, so I just.
Well, it's not about points, Nick. Please, it's about friendship.
It is.
The game that's still sticking in my craw is the Philly game, and leading up to those, they had 2 good games against. Be it like Houston's is a pretty bad team. But they had their center back, who they had I think Christian Wright, I think it was his name. I forget what his name was.
Yep.
Who actually is pretty good. And they played against Charlotte, who was down a couple people, including Mr. Glass, Gordon Hayward.
Out for another month.
Is he out for a month?
Another month. Yep.
Wow. What are they going to do with him? I don't know. I thought he just twisted his ankle.
I think someone touched him.
Yeah, breathe heavily on him. But, well, the Charlotte game was pretty good. They kind of blew him out, blew the doors out, which, is what they took care of the 2 teams they needed to take care of. And then Philly.
Scary Terry, I will say. I watched a little bit of that.
No, you know what? And the irony is he's still, if we would have kept him, who knows what would we had him for that one season when we were stacked and we had Kyrie still on the team, but then, we got rid of him after that. I mean, if we would have kept him, who knows? But we have Kemba, so that's like his slot, right there. But I like
an upgrade over Rozier. I'll tell you, 100%.
I think talent-wise, probably, but durability, who knows? Because Terry Rozier is one of those.
Question, yes, I will say.
Yeah, but regardless of that, the Philly game was competitive. Actually, got competitive towards the end too, a little bit, but it was competitive for like 1 and 3 or like 1.5 quarters, and then the defense wore on the seas, and they weren't getting, I don't know, people say they weren't getting easy shots. They were getting shots, but they were just like,
weren't making the basket.
no, they weren't even taking them. They weren't taking some. And, you know, Philly is a great defensive team. The big difference for them last year, the last couple years, is obviously Doc instilling like, hey, you got to play some great defense. And I know they were okay. They were a decent defensive team the last couple years, but they're kind of elite right now. They're really good. And they also have Danny Green. And if I was thinking about this like the last couple of days, Danny Green, I think, has been on the last 2 championship teams. Yeah. He was on the Lakers last year, I believe. I think he was on Toronto Raptors the year before. And he also comes from the Spurs. And I think he was in a team in between. I'm not sure. But he was with the Spurs when they went on their second run with Duncan. And I think he won like 1 or 2 with them. Yeah. If not, made it to 3. I forget. But yeah, Philly's got a great team, and we hung with them for a while, and we just kind of gave up in a lot of ways. And it's not even a bench thing either. Well, you know, the crappy thing was Evan Fournier couldn't play because of COVID protocol, and he was lighting it up.
I think he's still in protocol, I believe.
Probably. And I was so pissed. I was so pissed when I heard, because I'm like, oh, Evan Fournier, you know, the guy they picked up who's been red hot the last 2 games. Oh, he's not going to play because he was, you know, I don't know, kissing everything, you know, 5 feet away from him. But
kiss LeBron.
I guess, if he was around, or just anyone, just like statues, LeBron, people, you know, in the garden, just like hanging out, like, oh, I'm just trying to get a drink here. And I don't know, it was very disappointing he wasn't there. He would have made a difference, obviously. But I think it comes down to defense, and what I've been saying all along. And actually, what's his name? Gorman. Is it Mike Gorman that said?
Mike Gorman.
On Toucher and Rich. Mike Gorman, the announcer, the normal TV announcer for the Boston Celtics.
Yep. We like Mike Gorman. Yeah. We like.
Yeah, he's good. He'll tell you to you straight in a lot of ways. He's like, yeah, they need another big man and they need a point guard. And you know, and Robert Williams has been playing great, and he did okay against Embiid, but Embiid kind of is just he's in
his own category.
He really is. But I will say this: he should take the ref should just give him the ball on the free throw line, anytime they start a possession, because it's like there's nothing that guy can't do to get called. And honestly, you know, he's so big that he will get those calls. But I mean, sometimes it's just ridiculous. But you know, that's what you got to live with.
Slide him an extra 100 before the game, and you should be okay.
Hey, it's getting off cheap.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
Anything else that we want to cover here on today's program? I think everything else is pretty much done. Red Sox are 2-2 right now, heading into the top of the second. They're playing the Baltimore Orioles. We have a 3-game series against the Orioles. They'll play today, Thursday. Then they'll go Saturday, Sunday. And then they have a 4-game series against the Twinkies, the Minnesota Twins, where they'll be playing all 4 games in the afternoon before, I believe it is the White Sox will come to town for the Patriots Day weekend. So they'll do, they're back to Fenway on April 16th, 17th, 18th, and then the 19th they're still going to start those Monday games like they do in April for Patriots Day at 11:10. There's no marathon, of course, but they're going to still play it out like there is a Boston Marathon. So that's the week ahead for the Red Sox. For the Bruins, they have the Capitals. That is Thursday night. Then they play again, I believe it's Saturday afternoon. That is against the Philadelphia Flyers. And then they play again Sunday night, excuse me. They play the Washington Capitals back at the Garden. And then looking ahead even further to that, then we have Buffalo Sabres on April 13th. And on the 15th, they will play the Islanders. So that's a little bit of a week ahead for the Celtics and the Bruins. And the Celtics, we just say a prayer that they get a win.
I mean, I think they can beat the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, but who knows? Who knows?
All right, guys, thank you for joining us all here today on Face the Facts. We hope you all have a great rest of your week, and we will see you soon.
Adios.